What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. So tonight we have a boxing triple header. Want to get my predictions out there. I'm gonna kind of breeze through this. I got a lot of stuff to do today, and starting off with the Peter Quillin fight. As far as Peter Quillin, not gonna really explore this too much. I think Peter Quillin is being put in a fight that is kind of tailor made to get him back on track after a tough fight with Gabe Rosado, and which he was able to cut Gabe Rosado late. But Gabe Rosado was definitely getting his second win, and it looked like he was coming on strong. And then the cut happened, so a lot of people didn't like how that fight played out. So Peter Quillin, he's still undefeated, still a belt holder, and honestly, I think either his handlers, Golden Boy, whoever, they're just looking to get him back some more confidence because after his last performance, I mean, his confidence shouldn't be at an all-time high, not like when he beat Fernando Guerrero or somebody. So I think they just like put him in front of someone who's tough. Honestly, I don't know much about Lucas. I don't even want to pronounce his last name because I don't know how to do it. Don't know much about him. Really haven't had the time to research him. I just see it. I did see a little bit from him. I don't see anything special that really stands out. There looks like a height differential and a size differential. Peter Quillin, even though they're in the same division, next to him looks supremely bigger. He looks like noticeably bigger. So I just don't really see much that Lucas is going to be able to do minus like maybe last and go the distance with him. But I see like a TKO stoppage. The dude might be tough to the point where he's not going to get knocked out cold. So I'd say a TKO around 5 from what I've seen. But that is a limited amount of information. Moving on, we have Paulie Malignaggi, Sean Porter. Great fight. This is a really good fight. On paper, a very interesting matchup. I applaud both fighters. One, Paulie Malignaggi, for basically resurrecting his career. I mean, he's taken some hard losses in his career. Lost to Ricky Hatton, lost to Amir Khan, lost to Miguel Cotto. I mean, those are 3 big names, and he lost all of those big step-up type marquee name opponents. And he's been able to garner respect both for his commentary and also in the ring. Paulie Malignaggi is definitely underrated. And I think if Paulie Malignaggi had more pop, like if he could crack just a little bit harder, then he'd be a real problem at welterweight because his brain and the way he operates, his boxing knowledge of the sport is very high on the charts. So if he had a little bit more power, he'd be like the one to beat. He'd be like one of the devastating people at welterweight if he had like devastating power. But Paulie Malignaggi, I really like him, both his commentary and in the ring. He has one of the best usages of a jab in current boxing. Not too many fighters. It's kind of like a lost art. You've seen Mauricio Herrera had tons of success with Danny Garcia just by establishing that jab and using it consistently, keeping that out. Whether it was a rangefinder jab or a hard, stiff jab, it was apparent. And I think that's definitely what helped Herrera. So that's what Paulie Malignaggi is going to have to employ. He's going to have to use that jab. As far as Sean Porter just has to be Sean Porter, not think too much. He has to make it uncomfortable and ugly for Paulie Malignaggi, give him a limited amount of time to think, and just be smart. I mean, don't just bull rush your way and then start getting caught with counter shots and getting popped and stopped in your tracks with the jab. So Sean Porter is going to have to fight a calculated fight as well until he can break down Paulie Malignaggi. I ultimately see Sean Porter doing that. And I don't know if he could stop Paulie Malignaggi. Paulie Malignaggi has a fucking chin. So I'm not going to say Sean Porter is going to stop him. I would say via unanimous or split decision, Sean Porter. I give props to Paulie for having a chin. I think he's going to look good at times. But towards the stretch, I think that's where Sean Porter may pull away. But honestly, in all actuality, if Paulie Malignaggi pulled off the upset, I wouldn't be that surprised. Because we seen him in there against Broner. And he was doing his thing early. He just kind of fatigued and didn't keep up that same work rate late. And I think that's where Broner started to finally come on and land some good shots and put some things together. So, honestly, this is a 50-50 fight. It could go either way. I'm leaning towards Sean Porter. He seems young. He's hungry. He's the champion. And you got to do more to dethrone the champion. And based on Paulie's lack of power and just kind of how he was in the Broner fight, how he fatigued, I don't know if he's going to be able to keep up, if you will, with that type of awkward, like aggressive pressure that Sean Porter has been known to present. But he could make it interesting because don't get it twisted. Not talking about the Julio Diaz second fight because Sean Porter blew him out of the water in that one. But the first fight, Julio Diaz looked really good. And at this current moment in time, like when Diaz fought Porter and Paulie now, I would rate Paulie higher than I did Diaz when he fought Porter. And that fight was a draw. So it really could go either way. I'm just leaning towards the champion, the younger fighter, the fighter with more power. And it looks like Porter has the tools to beat a slick fighter. He did that in the Devin Alexander fight. And I don't know for a fact because I've never been punched by both guys, but I would say Devin Alexander has a little bit more power than Paulie Malignaggi, at least, based on Devin Alexander and like Lee Purdy and, you know what I mean, other fights that I've seen. So, and Devin Alexander's younger than Paulie Malignaggi. So I'm leaning towards Porter, but it really could go either way. And I'll be happy for either one. If Paulie resurrects his career to the point where he gets a belt, a lot of people thought he should have beat Broner. I think Broner won the fight based on the second half of the fight, but he looked good, and it definitely wasn't a shameful loss for Paulie Malignaggi. So it'll be a good opportunity to get and extend Paulie Malignaggi's career, give him a title again, or not give him, like he would have obviously earned it. But yeah, I don't care who wins. Sean Porter, another rising prospect. If he does beat Malignaggi, and if he does it impressively, like stops him, I'd be like, damn, okay, this guy has real potential. That's definitely going to move him up some spots in my book if he's able to do what Miguel Cotto, Ricky Hatton, and like guys like Amir Khan didn't do it and like just knock him out cold or to the point where he looks worse than he did in any of those fights. Then I would be really impressed, and that definitely raises Sean Porter's stock. So I'm going with Sean Porter via unanimous decision, maybe split decision, but I can definitely see Paulie fucking Malignaggi frustrating him at times and stealing some rounds. As far as the main event, Bernard Hopkins versus Bibo Shumanov or whatever his name is. Rock with Bernard Hopkins. He's age-defying. He's the alien. I just think he has more experience. He could take a punch. He's going in against a power puncher, which is good to see that contrast of style. But I just think Bernard Hopkins knows all the tricks. He knows when to smother you. He knows when to use and employ slightly dirty tactics, things that aren't going to get him immediately disqualified for. But he kind of just veteran tricks of the trade. He keeps it under the wraps. And I think he's going to ultimately have a showcase. And he hasn't stopped anyone since De La Hoya, so I see it going unanimous decision via Bernard Hopkins. But if he did stop him, that would be impressive too. If Shumanov wins, then a new star is born. But I just see Hopkins with his veteran experience, ability to take a punch, and his mind, his wisdom of the game, just see him being too much for Shumanov, who really hasn't fought anyone. Now, I could be wrong because every fighter needs that one big platform, and some people rise to the occasion, others don't. And this, for the sake of prediction, I just don't see Shumanov having it all and putting it all together to the point where he's going to win the fight. Another thing, I don't know if you guys know this about Shumanov. He's from Kazakhstan, but he doesn't have a head trainer. He's his own head trainer. And going in against a living legend like Bernard Hopkins, again, somebody with all the veteran secrets and very good boxing ability and somewhat of a like a relic in boxing in terms of his knowledge, I just don't see how that's going to be beneficial. And again, you don't even have a head trainer. And I'm not saying trainers win fights because obviously the fighter has to put up or shut up when it comes time to fight. However, maybe a trainer will be able to see certain elements or like watch tape with you and see what you're doing in ring that you might not be able to see. So him not having an official head trainer and he's his own head trainer, I just don't see how that's beneficial, especially when you're going up against B-Hop. Let me know what you guys think of my predictions. Do you agree? Do you disagree? As always, hate, comment, or subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off.